Today we're just going to talk about MaintainView. It's a new product, fairly new. It's used various places in the world, and we're starting to really launch it here in North America. We're logging into what is currently a demo that will eventually be a full-fledged site for a special project run in Canada on the drdas cloud. So the information here is not complete. It looks like it's a work in progress site because it is. Aside from that, I think we're ready to just get into it. There's a lot to show and little time to do it, and we'll have time for questions at the end. If you have anything that comes up while I'm going through, feel free to ask, though, as usual. So it's a web-based product where you can log in to a website from anywhere if you have it internet-based, and provide information about the activities that you're doing at a station or various other things that might be going on in your network. It's tied in with the Invista database, so it has a portion of it that is run off of the Invista system, and it uses some extra tables for additional information that's mostly within the MaintainView product itself. So I'm just going to log in to start. We log in and we see a menu. The part of the thing that's been explained to me is that David would like this to work even with something like Wi-Fi iPads in the future, so you'll see that the buttons are large for some of the menu items, and they're designed so that you can touch them in the end. He's aware that Windows 8 is a touch-based interface, and that's coming for the future. All of this is in his design. We'll start with the tools. One of the things that MaintainView can do is store contact information and information about devices and things that are assets in your network. So we'll just start by adding some stuff to MaintainView so that it's easier to show you what it can do. In contacts, you see you have a list of manufacturers, suppliers, laboratories, and data clients and customers. For us, we have supplier, and we can select the drdas entry. And you'll see I've filled out some information here about us. I can always add information or fix it, so I can add our phone number, save that. It's stored as a supplier now. drdas is in here. Suppliers and manufacturers are required to add instrumentation or devices. So this is just a basic view of the supplier or the contact form. The supplier would be who provided the product to you, who sold it, and the manufacturer would be who made it. Sometimes they might be the same. Sometimes they could be different. If you do have suppliers and manufacturers that are the same, you do have to add them as a supplier and a manufacturer separately. And that might be to your benefit too if they have different points of contact for each branch or service that they offer. Another concept in MaintainView is that of locations. The stations that you have in Invista are already available in the system because it sees those. It's based on the same database. I'm going to mute everybody for now because I'm getting feedback and it's distracting. Just 1 second. Okay, I'll unmute everybody when it's time for questions. Sorry. Some examples of locations which are different than stations would be storage locations, in transit, QC labs, service labs, different places that the instrumentation assets could be other than at a station. So I've added some here for this project, storage location for the University of Toronto, for instance. When you add a device, this is adding a type of device, so this is like maybe an instrument type if you're thinking of Invista, something along those lines. I do have a device to add here. I can I think it's particulate, I don't actually know, but it's an EcoChem. I don't have any suppliers, so I'm just using generic for now. It's an EcoChem Pass 2000, and I'm just going to say pH monitor. So fill in the information here. I don't have any idea how much they would cost. We can choose a file here, and you'll see I have several instrument pictures downloaded, but this is the Pass 2000. So we can upload that. It'll show when I click Save. We can also upload a manual. So when we click Manual, Upload File appears below it. And, oh, I don't have a manual for this one. I'm going to cancel. I'll upload a brochure instead. So you can see that the brochure shows up under the brochure button. And that we do have. So we'll open that. It uploads it. It was a very small brochure, so it's quick. And now we can click Save. And if we click the Edit button here to look at the device we just added, you'll see that the picture is available. If we click Brochure, it shows us the brochure. So it becomes kind of a technical library in this sense. You'll see there's also an option to add an SOP. So if you have a written SOP or an Excel spreadsheet for each type of instrument you have out there, that's available here. Once we have a device type, we can add instances of that device. So the individual instruments that you have, the serial number based instrument. I don't have the serial number of the PAH or the PAS 2000 here, but I will add, I'll make up a serial number for now. A tag number would be like the barcode that maybe your your agency would provide to you as a sticker to put on the instruments, something like that. So it could be letters and numbers. We can select a place to put it. So you'll see this is one of those places where the stations and locations are separated. Station, we can say that it's at the Wahlberg site. You could also say that it's in storage. So if it's a brand new instrument and you haven't put it out into the field yet, you can add it here and then just put it into storage for the time being. When you do add it to a station, you can select a channel to add it to. So we'll add it to the PAH channel. The location is grayed out because we have station selected. If we switch to location, then this would be enabled and these would be disabled. We do have to pick a supply date. For this project, I have no idea what it was, so I'm just going to put in some guesses for the supply and installation date. Replacement date, physical date, notes, those are not required fields. Neither is firmware, but I wanted to point out that that's something that can be stored. As you might know, that's important sometimes with communicating with NVDAS Ultimate, knowing that it has the latest firmware, or at least tracking what the firmware version is. So that's a possibility here as well. And you can attach a file to this. So when we save this, we get the screen back again, and it's ready to add another device. There's an Edit Devices button here, but I'm going to go to it through the menu just so you can see that it's available somewhere else as well. So when we click Edit Device, what we will do is search for the device that we want to edit. In this case, we're going to look for the Pass 2000. So I've selected the particulate category, the Pass 2000, and I'm going to click Send. And you'll see here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 available for us to edit. One of the things that we could edit is give it a different tag number. If we needed to, we could change the channels that it's associated with, the state, these arrows on either side. Well, this one's not purple because there's nothing to go over to. Allow you to see more information about the instrument. The serial number and the state are the beginning and end. So as you're clicking through, you'll see that the state stays at the end and the serial number stays at the beginning. We can put in a note here that just says installed, and when we click out of that, you can see that it's red. That means that we would need to save that line. We can actually change many things at one time in this. When we click Save, it would apply that installed note. It says successfully saved. There's some other options here too. You can edit it in a full screen view, like the screen that we installed it with. This pinpoint, as you might guess, would change the location, so it lets you set another place for it. So this would be taking it out of the station and putting it into storage, for instance. When you click save here, it's automatic. You don't need to click the save button again. I'm not going to do that because this actually is at this site, so I like where it is right now. That's how devices are managed. The devices themselves, I know the device word is a bit, it's not the perfect word right now, because this could even store the shelter, the trailer itself. It could store kind of a combination device. So if you have pieces that you've put together as a tag number for your state, like a meteorological set of equipment, you might need to do some things when you send some of that out for calibration, but you can track that as a single unit here. That's a specific question we've had in the past about it. Let's see here. I think that's all about this. There are some other things to do. You can add parts for the devices. So if we know that the EcoChem past 2000, we'll say the customer part code is 56. Customer part code would be what you order it with. Serial number right now is actually a required field, but we're working on that. I'm just going to put in 0 because this part that I'm going to add, we're just going to say is a front panel screen. We'll say that it doesn't have a serial number, so I'm just going to put 0 in as a place filler. You can say where it is. So if you have a state agency that has different offices spread out, you can know where parts for certain things are kept. This one will say is in storage. Located at, this is parts are, they're small, they're big, they're stored in different places. So here I could say it's in box 111 in storage if you have some sort of way to handle that. Or you could say it's in tool bin B, however you label things. There's an notes field here, so you can talk about it, indicate a price. We could say there, it's a front panel, I don't know, $150. And you could say that you have 2 of those available. Some parts expire, so there's an option to add a lifespan to a part. So you could say that if some sort of media is going to expire in a year, you could say that they're good for a year. You can add pictures and data sheets for the parts as well, and click Save. So now we have parts available to us as well in this inventory tracking. The last thing in the tools is actually general options. It's lots of neat little features, but they're kind of the overall options for the site, like alerts. One of the things that we're going to look at in a moment is the maintenance scheduling, so you can get an alert before you have to go out into the field. You can also get an alert one day after if you think that things got rescheduled and you have to go the next day, so you don't forget about it, things like that. You can get alerts when parts are at a minimum quantity. So you can say, if any part gets only down to 2, I need to know. And if we get to 0, I get this red mark. There are events in the maintenance scheduler, which you'll see you can set the colors for. I actually changed these because the original colors were not great. And then the personnel. Not everybody in the system, in the Invista system, needs to have access to MaintainView, and that's understood. So what you can do is select people and give them roles in MaintainView. An admin can do anything, just like Invista. A reporter is somebody who can create a maintenance task, and a technician is somebody who can do actions on maintenance tasks. You can have an email alert here separate from Invista in case you need one to go to your phone, something like that. And you can configure the sites that they have these privileges at. I'm going to go back to home. You saw that there's a nice breadcrumb type menu up at the top, so just one click to go all the way back home. And what I'm going to do now is create a new maintenance task in the system. I'm going to say that we'll start it tomorrow. That's the first date. Reporter is me because I'm creating this report of an incident. The organization will say is U of Toronto, and we'll say it's the Wahlberg site. That's where we put the PAS. And we'll say particulate PAH channel. model PAS 2000. You'll see that comes up right away. It knows the channel at the station now is related to this instrument. We're not going to say it's a fall. We're going to say monthly, and we're going to say it's a normal level task because it is a scheduled task. We'll assign it to Nathan Downs, who's also me, and we will say that the data will stay valid for it. There's fault descriptions here. Since we're not picking a fault as the maintain type, we can just say other. And you can write a description of what the task is supposed to be here as well. So we can say clean lines. I don't know. I'm just making things up. Sorry. We can attach files to it. This is really nice because if it is a fault and you're looking to see why data might be invalid, one of the things you could do is attach a spreadsheet from Invista of the data set that you have suspect as invalid. So you could attach also pictures. So if you had a picture, somebody drove by and took a picture of the station and it had a big hole in the side of it, you could attach that picture and put it as a maintenance task. All sorts of things. Yeah, you could attach an SOP for cleaning the lines, although maybe that would be in the SOP for the instrument itself under that section of MaintainView. There's lots of things that you could add as a file. Right now we're just going to click Save. So it's been successfully added. We say OK. That's all that submitting a maintain request is. It's just creating that request. If we go to the diary, you'll see that I have 2 tasks set up for myself right now and a third one that's been completed. The tasks that are not complete are colored, and I'm not sure that you can see the background. I did pick a fairly light color. The color before was bright yellow, so it was hard on the eyes. And then the task that's number 1, ticket number 1 here, has been completed. So I'm just going to do the monthly maintenance on the PAS 2000. To do that, I'm going to open a new window, and I'm just going to log in as me, which I think is this. We'll go to Maintain Diary. We'll see my tasks. I'm going to click on Details here. You'll see that it says that I need to clean the lines. So I'm going to click on this document with the edit next to it, the pencil, and I have these options to do these things related to cleaning the lines. The first thing I'm going to do is click Begin at the bottom. This starts the task and it adds a history item that says I've begun this task. And then I can pick any of these preset items as what I'm doing. So I could say, there's one in here, I don't see it right now. There's one about removing the cables or the lines powering off. But instead I'm just going to say tubes cleaning. So I'll select that and say add. And then if I don't like any of these, I can also write my own description. That's what that big red line was. So I can say finished cleaning and add that. And you see it goes on the end. Everything is time-stamped as an individual action that's been done. So I'm pretty happy with this. You'll notice that there's a front panel screen here. I'm not going to use any of those to clean the lines. I don't need to do that. So I'm going to say resolved, waiting for approval with this closing date. So that means that I'm done with my job, and I'm going to save this. And you'll see now that there's this button here that says approve. The reason why I have the approve button is because the login of Nathan Downs was added as an admin and a reporter, not just a technician. If this was a technician, they wouldn't be able to approve their own tasks. Okay, so I'll log out, log back in as admin. I'll look at the maintain diary and I'll see that I have this task available to approve. So I'll just click approve. I can go back in and edit it, or I can just say okay. So that's been approved. It's now at the bottom and it's got a white background. You'll notice though that there is now a 4th task, and I didn't add that one manually. What happened was, since I completed a task and it's monthly, it knows to schedule one for 1 month later for you. So instead of creating a monthly task and having it happen on the 1st of every month, it schedules it once the task is completed. And this makes a lot of sense, because if it's a monthly task and you're a week late doing it because you got in trouble doing something else and you got held up, that month now continues into the next month, 1 month later. So you're not doing the task too many times. You're not losing too many parts. You're not losing too much time doing the task. So anyway, that's how to run through a task, creating it, working on it, resolving it. There's a calendar. The calendar just gives you an idea of what's going on in your network. You can see that there were some tasks. This is one that I did as a test, and it was a biweekly, so it got rescheduled to here. If I go forward to November, you'll see, or to December, you'll see that there's the monthly task for cleaning the lines again. So that's the calendar. There's not really much interactivity except you can delete a task from here. Just an idea of what's going on in your network that day. You can submit audit calibrations. I'm going to go into this in a second webinar at some point, not right now. I will show you the screen. What you can do is create an audit. You have several different types that you can do, precision. Once you've run through the audit, you might need to adjust the instrument. So when you check the adjustment box, you get the coefficient and background noise that you're putting in the instrument. And then you can put the after tests as well. Yeah, Andy's noting that it'd be very helpful if you don't have NVDAS at the site. This type of form will streamline that for you. Most of this information is available in NVDAS Ultimate, except the after adjustment is not quite as streamlined yet. And then the submit for AQS is not available. So there's some information here that's not in Ultimate, but most of this is also available in Ultimate. And then finally there's a reports menu where you can run various types of reports. I'll just run a couple quick examples. Maintenance report, we can look at a station and we can say, I want to see everything that's happened at all of the stations for you, Ontario, from the 1st of this month. So we'll send that, and you can see I've got items that I've been doing for Hanlon Point. That was a test. Let's see here, report. There are other types of maintenance reports you can look at by the location or follow a device's maintenance history. Calibration would report on the calibrations that were entered through MaintainView at this time. An inventory report can tell you where certain items are. So if we say device and we want to know where the past 2000 is, we can click send and you'll see there it is at Wahlberg. Yeah, there are other features that I actually haven't touched yet, like the history button to see where it's been. There's other ways to see where your inventory is, the device by device, what's at a specific location. This can be used also to see what's at a station. So we could say what's at Hanlon Point. We'll say all monitors. And you can see there's a couple of things that come up. This is a good thing to mention. This McGee ethylometer, you'll see that it's associated with more than one channel. So even though this NO only has one channel selected right now, you can select more than one channel when you're associating a device to a channel list in Vista. More reports. There's a spare parts report. It really just lists the spare parts that you have. And you'll see here that since I have the 2 as being pink, maybe you can see that it's pink there. It is. And that's it. I'm going to unmute everybody and allow you to ask questions. If you wanted to be muted, you can mute yourself again in a second. There you go. Feel free to ask questions.
Yeah, Nathan, this is Harry Evans talking. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think you mentioned or touched on it about the history, but you can track where an analyzer or device has gone through your network. If you'll pull out and fix it, put it in a different station. That's something that you get in a report.
Yeah, you can see where something has been.
Okay. And the calendar view, can you get site-specific calendar views, or what exactly shows on the calendar view? Is it everything that ever happened that was entered?
No, the calendar view is ideally centered. I don't know if it goes into the past. I don't have any past. I'm assuming that it shows you everything that's been done. The all stations drop-down is not working right now, but you should be able to filter by site.
Okay, so you could filter by site, or could you filter by device, or no? Or by type of device, like all over analyzers or something like that?
No, not at this time. Although I spoke to David about this earlier this year, and the calendar is definitely something that he realizes can be a leveraged feature to make this product even more impressive. So
yeah,
that's definitely something that we can take to him as a recommendation for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, I even think that clicking on this and going to that task would be beneficial.
Oh, yeah, right. That's right.
Any other questions?
Nathan, this is Grant in Wisconsin. How does it work in terms of updating the location if you change it in MaintainView, and then how does it reflect it in the ARM? Where say does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that you're the one with the feedback, but I did understand your question, and I'm going to restate it for everybody because I think that they might not have understood. So when you change an instrument that's associated with a channel in MaintainView, your question is, what is the effect of that in Vista ARM? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So in the version that's showing right now, the effect is minimal. But in the version that you'll receive with according to the RFP that we've been working through with you, it will change. It will annotate the serial number, other items. So that's in progress still.
So is that also the case with setup as well?
Yeah, the goal will be to have them reading the same tables, so the changes would be in both places at the same time. So if you change something in setup, it would change it in MaintainView and vice versa.
This configuration.
This is Jason Friedel. Just wanted to ask, in the equipment configuration area, where you could link pictures, manuals, brochures, SOPs, can you link multiple files, or just one for each type?
One for each type, as far as I know at this time. I actually haven't played with the SOP button yet. Oops, I suppose I should pick something. Are you thinking that there's like the operator's manual, and then there's a technical manual or install manual for some instruments? Is that the type of thing you're thinking of, Jason?
Yes, and there could even be like service notes and fixes that some manufacturers come out with.
Yeah, understood.
You certainly upload the files, and does it produce a list of them sometimes?
No. So when the file is uploaded, the button is available, and then when you click on it, you get an option to delete it. Having multiple files would certainly be beneficial, and I think even in 2 seconds of thinking about it, we've come up with some good examples. So I'll take that back. We have a very strong ear of the NVTech personnel working on this right now. So.
Would the files be specific only to that device, or would they be like upload the manual and it would show up for any of those on the effect of the same model?
So right now it's for this type of device. So you could have, nobody does, but you could have 30 PAS 2000s in your network. This would be an overall view of that device.
Yeah, we don't have to upload it for each device.
We'll talk about ways to maybe make multiple files available. I see value in it. Indy sees value in it.
Hi, Nathan. It's Sonia from Montreal.
Hi, Sonia.
I have a question. You said this is web-based.
Yes.
So is it planning to replace the logbook?
It doesn't have to replace the logbook. It certainly would provide a more detailed version of the logbook if you used this instead.
Okay, so we would need to add that maintain view at each site if we wanted to work that way.
No, but your sites would need to be able to access the internet. So the MaintainView would be in a central location, and as a piece of software running. And when somebody browses to the website, it would load. For instance, this nearroad.info right now is not here. It's in another building somewhere else. It's just hosted like a website.
Okay, thanks.
This is Harry Bender again. Another question about the setting up the maintenance. You may have touched on it and missed it, but can you set up maintenance for all your devices at once? Is it all the same? And all similar devices, I mean, like all the PAS, if you have 200 PAS 2000s or whatever, would your maintenance cover all of them in one setup?
Oh, that would be wonderful. It's not right here. It's a great idea. So you're looking at like a batch of adding scheduled tasks, right?
Right. Network has a bunch of the same type of things. We have entered a bunch of them.
Support other than device types.
Yeah. So right now we have, just as an example I can think of, we have monitor types in Invista. And when you create a monitor type now in Invista, you can do something which is like a monitor type. So every time you add that monitor to a site, you get the alerts that were with that monitor type. Andy is saying that he's already written to Envatech and said that when you create these device types, like the screen that you have here, one of the options is to create the device maintenance and the spare parts as a part of that creation process. Spare parts should be different. Does that answer your question, Harry? Okay. Anything else? Okay, thanks everybody for joining. This will be posted online so you can see it again. You also have the document that I sent out, which basically runs through most of what I've done here.